as I continued to work with her, and she saw things around the house, and I told her when we first interviewed, I said, if this goes well, I have a lot in this house that I would love to have somebody help me go through. So this could end up being a bigger job, depending upon how the first part goes. And obviously the first part went very well. So then I walked her through the house and showed her all the stuff that was in my house. Now, my parents were of the greatest generation, so they'd survived through the Depression. My dad fought in World War II, and my parents got married right after he came home. And so that era had a lot of beautiful collectible things, like sets of china, different sets of silverware, some unique items that were in sterling, crystal, different types of crystal, even some fancy glassware, Steuben glassware, which was lost on me, but my mom kept saying, this is very special, be very careful with this. I even had, linens and tablecloths and linen cocktail napkins, things that today, they just, I would save them because I love them, but I went to my children who are in their teens and early 20s, and I said, what do you think? Is this anything you find value in? Is this anything you'd like me to save for you? And they're like, no, which was fine. There's no reason to continue on with it. And I was at a stage in life where there were so many things changing that it was easier in some ways to say, okay, I'm going to part with that. So as Stephanie and I were going through, I had things down in my basement in boxes that I hadn't opened that were like beautiful sterling silver sherbet glasses. Gorgeous. I'd been married 35 years. I'd never used them. But they were so pretty. I didn't want to get rid of them. But as we went through these things, Stephanie and I, she said, I wonder if there's a way for us to get some value out of these, because they are antiques, they are beautiful, and there is a market for that. And I didn't know where that market was. The best I would have done was put it on Facebook Marketplace, would have undervalued it tremendously. Now, Stephanie wasn't saying, oh, you're going to make a ton of money, but it made the parting with it that if there was a way to monetize some of it, that made it a little easier also to part with those things. So Stephanie was very transparent in saying, now I don't know the value of all these things, but I have a contact. We'll look into it together. We'll find out. So she took it upon herself at that point to start educating herself and taking classes on collectibles and antiques and how to determine value. I just happened to be the guinea pig, which I was ever so grateful for, and I had plenty of stuff for her to go through. I had old books, I had crystal, I had silver, I had china, tons of stuff. And so we went through it all together. At the end of it, now this took over a period of about 6 months, which was fine. This was not a high pressing job, but it was one that needed to be done. And she discovered everything but the house over in Cincinnati. And we started working with them. Stephanie was really transparent with me about, now this is how it works. I'll come and get these things. She actually drove my things all the way to Cincinnati and showed them to the folks there. She set a realistic expectation with me about, now this week when this stuff goes live on their website, it may be something that somebody's looking for and it'll go super quick. Then again, it might not. It may be something that's valued this week and it might not be in another week. So I appreciated the level set of, you're not going to come away with this with hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't think that would be the case anyway, but I appreciated the transparency and the fact that she was really communicating with me constantly through it as far as, this is the process, this is how they're going to do it. She let me know when my items were live on the Everything But the House website. I could look at them and see how they were doing. She kept me up to date on but how the bidding was going for the items. And so I went through a great deal. I still have a nice amount of things to give to my children, but things that they wouldn't value, things that they wouldn't use, there was no reason to continue on with them. And that was hugely, hugely helpful. Figurines, just stuff that you just collect over time. Like my grandmother gave me this, and my mom gave me that. And next thing you know, you've got a room full of things that you've never touched. And I needed a place to go with them, and that was incredibly helpful.